Okay, we are going to start graphing inequalities, and this is just continuing with the last couple days that we've been looking at graphs and different parent functions, but this time instead of it being an equation, it's going to be an inequality. But there's really not much more to it. We're going to start the exact same way. So let's do this first one. Y is less than x plus 4. All I'm going to do is graph the line y equals x plus 4. Now, if you remember what this looked like, we're just going to translate that parent function y equals x up 4, and it's going to look like that. I'm getting a little bit off right there. It's going to look like that. So that's the line y equals x plus 4. Now, let's talk a little bit more in depth about this. You see that it's got a less than sign, okay? Think back to when we would just graph just any variable. X is less than 4 on a number line. Okay, if we were graphing that, remember how we would draw our number line and we'd go to 4 and it would be an open circle that points to the left, okay? And why did we make it an open circle? Well, we made it an open circle because since it's less than, 4 is not a part of the solution, okay? If it was less than or equal to, then 4 would be a part of the solution, and we would fill that in to show that it is a part of the solution. So you remember that? We used the phrase, extra mark, make it dark. So we've got the less than sign. If there's the extra mark underneath it, we need to fill it in. We need to make it dark. Extra mark, make it dark. Well, we're going to do the same thing over here, except now there's not a circle to fill in. There's a line, okay? And there's no extra mark here. It's just less than. So somehow we need to show that that is like open, like your open circle, and that line is not a part of the answer. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to make that line dotted or dashed. So I'm going to come back and make this line dotted or dashed. So only one difference so far from everything we've done before. We know how to graph a line. Great. Graph the line, then decide whether it's solid or dotted. And then that last thing we have to do is decide whether we're going to shade it above or below that line. Okay, well, this is a less than sign. That's what we're graphing, less than. Does less than sound like above or below? Well, it sounds like below, right? Less than would be below. So come to this line, and we're going to shade everything below this line. Okay, and I didn't draw my line going all the way out, but you know that it continues to go out. So I'm just going to kind of shade it in like that. So that's all we've got. So draw the line, decide whether it's solid or dotted, and shade above or below. No sweat. Until you get to this next one, number 2, they made this one a little bit more difficult for us. Actually, no, they didn't. I'm looking at the next one. I'm ahead of myself. So y equals negative 3x minus 1. Let's just start. Y-intercept is negative 1. Slope is negative 3. Down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. Whoops, down 3 over 1. And we're going to draw our line more or less like that. I'm sorry, that's a really, really sloppy line, but you get the point. Okay, next, should this be a solid or dotted line? Looking at the sign right there, there's the extra mark, so we make it dark, right? Greater than or equal to, so this line is actually a part of our solution. Anything that's on that line, any ordered pair that's on that line will make this inequality true. So we're going to keep it solid, and let's see if I should just kind of make that a little bit better. Okay, last step, we need to shade. Do we shade above or below? Well, the sign is greater than, and greater than means above, so we're just going to come here and we're going to shade everything above that line. All right, great. Let's look at this last one. And this last one was the one that I was thinking they did make a little bit more difficult for us, but no problem. We're champs at algebra. We can do this. The thing that makes it difficult is we've got a minus 2 with the y. I don't like that. You don't like that. Let's get rid of it. Let's just take that minus 2, cross the line, change the sign, right? Add that 2 to the other side. Plus 2 cancels it out. And now we're rocking and rolling. Y is less than 5x plus 2. So we'll go up 2, and then up 5, and over 1. And we're going to draw our line. Now, next question. Is it solid or dotted? Well, that's just a less than sign, not equal to, just less than. So this is going to be a dotted line. So make it dotted. And then the last step, do we shade above or below? Well, it's less than. Less than means below. So we're going to shade it down here. All right, that's it. Not bad, is it? So let's look at this. What if we have an absolute value? Well, first of all, we know what absolute value does, right? Absolute value makes a v. So let's look at this. Y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of 2x minus 1. So that minus 1 is with the x, right? So it's going to go left or right, and it goes the opposite way with the x. Remember, that was that crazy one. So it's going to go to the right one. And we also see that the number in front of x slope is 2. So instead of our v just having a nice slope of 1, our v is going to have a slope of 2. So that's what it's going to be right here. There and right there, just like that. Okay, next step, is this a solid or dotted line? Because our rules are going to hold the same. Solid or dotted, you've got it. There's the extra mark under there. There's the equal sign right there. So that's going to be a solid line. Now, is it going to be above or below? Well, that's a greater than, so greater than means above. So I'm just going to pick any point and start shading above. And we're going to shade everything up in here. Right, because that line continues going there. So that's the answer to number 5. Let's do another one. Now, this next one, number 6, it's just like the problem that we just did. I don't like that 7 over there with the y. You don't like that minus 7. So let's just cross the line, change the sign. Let's bring it over. Do the same thing on both sides. Add 7 to both sides. We got it over there now. So that means we're going to have to go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to move it up 7. And then what about that plus 2? Plus 2 is with the x, right? Inside the absolute value, x is opposite. So instead of going right 2 like it would seem, we're going to go left 2. So let's come left 2. And that's right where our point's going to be. And just make our nice, easy, absolute value graph. Okay, next step. Is it going to be a solid or dotted line? Well, this is less than or equal to. That extra mark means equal to. So if it's equal to, every point on that line is a part of our answer. It's included. It's going to stay solid. Okay? Less than, is that above or below? Well, it's below. Less than means below. So come to any point and start shading less than, and we'll see, okay, I see this. This is going to be everything out here like that. Okay, let's graph the last one. Again, on this last one, they're trying to make it tough, but we're algebra champs. Let's just take that plus 5 to the other side. Subtract it over. Okay, so we know what that means out there. That 5, we were going to start at 0, 0, but since that minus 5 is there, we've got to go down 5. Out there by itself is going to change the y value, go down 5. And then our slope in there with the x is 3. So instead of being a nice, easy slope of 1, up 1 over 1, we've got to go up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1, and it's going to look like this. Same thing back here. Making it a perfect V. Looks like that. Okay, now our sign, our inequality sign is less than. Not less than or equal to, just less than. So we've got to make this a dotted line because the points on that line are not a part of this solution. Okay, so we've got a dotted line there. Now, last question, do we shade above or below? Well, that's less than. Less than means below, so we need to shade everything below this line out here just like this. Okay, sweet, no problem. Real easy. We can do these. Okay, now we have to write the inequality for each one of these graphs. Now, the nice thing is it already tells us what the graph basically is. It gives us the parent equation, or it gives us the line equation. Y equals 2x plus 5. So we're looking right there at that graph. So First question I'm going to ask, that 2x plus 5, that's the line. First question I got to ask, is this a solid, or well, first of all, are we shaded above or below this line? We're shaded above this line, so this is going to be a greater than means above, and then it's a dotted line, so that means it's just a greater than, it's no greater than or equals to. Let's look at the next one. Number 10, I'll write down here. That absolute value equation, it tells us, is y equals x plus 4 minus 3. Okay, so again, all we have to figure out, are we shaded above or below that? Because we're just changing the sign. That's all we're changing. We're shaded below, so this has to be a less than. And that is a solid line. So solid line means less than or equal to. How about 11? Y equals the negative absolute value of x minus 2. Remember that negative sign out front, that's why it's pointing down. So let's just change the sign and see what it is that it needs to be. We shaded above or below. This is below, right? So we're going to be less than. And it is a dotted line. And so it's just going to be less than. It's not going to be less than or equal to. So these are our 3 answers for these inequalities. I think, yep, that's it. As much as I hate to say it, because I was rather enjoying this lesson, that's it. That's all we've got. Okay, good luck.